righty. I'll take silence as no. I am going to open up the chat box. So if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to either raise your little Zoom hand. You can just unmute yourself and interrupt me, or you may throw that into the chat box. I'm just getting my screen up. Give me 2 seconds here. All right, we should be good now. All right, let me open up that chat box again. Oops. All right, today we're going to try to zip through two types of lead generation. Last week we covered leads from listings, as well as we talked about business to business referrals, which in my opinion is one of like the most underutilized forms of lead generation. So we covered both of those last week. This week I'm going to talk about social media, as well as we want to talk about the farm. So a couple other methods of lead gen. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. And as always, when we start talking about lead generation, you should have 5 methods. Ultimately, it's debatable whether your database is actually lead generation or not. I think it is. I call it lead gen. Other people say it's not lead gen. It's just doing what you're supposed to be doing. I agree with that too, but you're definitely going to generate leads by working in your database. So that's the first method. If you don't have systems and processes in place for your database, you don't have all of your contacts into your database, do that first. Make that your plan before the end of the year, is to get that database up to about 200, 250 people minimum. Okay. We covered that last month. So feel free to dig back through all the trainings, look for those as far as adding people in there, how to tag them, how to categorize them, how to follow up with those people, because that's the main portion of the database. Not only do you have to have people in it, but you actually have to be doing what's called working your database. Second method of lead gen, which again could go either way on whether it's actually lead gen, but that is leads from listings. You should be generating leads from your listings. And then I want you to select 3 additional lead generation methods, to which you're going to focus on one at a time. So you're going to develop those systems and processes, get in the habit of calling and working your database, sending out those newsletters, doing all those things. Then we're going to develop those systems and processes around when we have a listing, how we're going to generate leads from that listing, how we're going to handle those leads, how we're going to treat, what our follow-up plan is going to be. We're going to put those systems and processes into place and in writing, so they're easy to duplicate, replicate, and fix. Okay. Then you're going to add another lead gen method. So let's say it's business to business referrals that we talked about last week. You're going to develop those systems and processes around that form, put them in writing, begin executing that. So by now we should be developing and executing our database plan, our leads from listings plan, and our third method. Okay. Once we've got systems and processes and we're being successful generating leads from that third method, we're going to add method number 4. Once we've mastered that, developed in systems and processes, then you do number 5. Okay. So there's my spiel on lead gen. In case you haven't heard it before, you'll hear it lots of other times. But today, right now, we're going to focus on social media. Okay. I would recommend that even if you're not using social media for lead generation, that you have some sort of social media. Okay. You'll use it to promote listings, advertise open houses, make sure that when people search for you to validate you as an agent, that you have some sort of social media presence. So that being said, how you operate in social media for lead generation is different than how you would run like your daily activities. So today we're going to dive into some tips and ideas to help you actually generate leads through social media. Learning objectives, we're going to talk about creating that system, identifying your tribe, having a plan, creating posts, and interacting with people. There's a lot of content in this, so I apologize if it feels like it's a little all over the place. It probably is. All right, so I'm going to say I'm old. Okay, so social media to me is a little bit overwhelming. There's always updates. There's new platforms. The algorithm's constantly changing as to what gets your posts seen by people. And it's really, truly, it's hard to keep up with it all. So that being said, I would say stick with what you know, Or if you don't know social media, just focus on one main platform or maybe one or two platforms, right? Like you've got YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. And then there's like a whole bunch of others that happened in the last 4 years, like Telegram. And I don't even know because I don't participate in them. Okay. But there's a lot. So I use Facebook. Okay. Part of the reason for that is it automatically cross posts onto Instagram. I also use YouTube, which would be considered social media. Okay. Again, there's no wrong or right answer. I just don't care to try to learn the newer platform, but all can be effective for lead generation. So pick your platform and master it. One of the other reasons that I do like Facebook is a few reasons. One is that you can create communities and groups. So it can like lead into your lead generation strategy because it's not just based on your posts. Okay, we're going to talk about those later. And then also, Facebook is the largest social media platform. And when you look at the age of people that constantly are on and using Facebook, they're generally those that are the average age of home buyers. Okay. Every morning, there's about 260 million people on Facebook, which is a huge audience. Okay, so that being said, just make sure you know your platform, know the average user, right, who's using that platform, and make wise choices. Being on a platform predominantly used by high schoolers may not be the best use of your time. Okay. And then also, I would recommend that you set your profile to public. That way, when people look for you, they can find you and they can share your posts. Okay, there are ways to strategically post so that some stuff just goes to family, other stuff is public. So you can do that or have a couple of profiles. That seems daunting to me. More than one profile. All right. When it comes to platforms like Facebook or Instagram, where you can have business pages or profiles, they're becoming more and more obsolete. Okay. For a business page to get a lot of traction, you have to spend a lot of money. They weren't designed for what we call organic traffic. Okay. Or that they just drive people to those pages without money being spent. Okay. So it's really not designed for your average solo agent. Okay. So in order to get traction on those business pages, it's like thousands of dollars in ad spend. Now, if you go on the Facebook, you will find that I do have a business page. Why do I have a business page? I'm telling you that it may not be worth it because I started my business page, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, at least 10 years ago. And I feel like it's easier just to keep it than it is to delete it and start all over with a community page. So when it comes to platforms, specifically like Facebook, it may be a better option to create a community page because you're going to get more traction. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have one yet, or if you don't have a lot of followers or whatnot on your business page, go community page instead of business page. In addition, whether it's a community page or business page, it gives you a page to tag to stay in legal compliance, making sure that you have your DRE number and your brokerage is identified because social media is your first point of contact. So if you're posting about business on social media, those posts need to have your DRE number and your brokerage identified. So if you have that community page or you have that business page, it makes it really easy that if we're posting on our personal page, we can tag that community page or that business page in there, and that keeps us in compliance. Okay, so that's really one really good way to do it. I would make the title of your community page or your business page like Amy Petard, DRE, right, 017950110, right? And then make sure that it links on that page that you're part of Realty One Group Fox. You can also tag Realty One Group Fox in all of your posts as well. And in that realm too, if we're posting about business, it should have the brokerage logo as an image, right? If you're posting a picture, it should have the brokerage logo on it. And again, if it's not like a photo or whatnot, or if it doesn't have that, make sure you're just tagging Realty One Group Fox and your name with your DRE number in that post. Okay, compliance is important. All right, it's important to put some time and thought into setting up your pages. First, as already mentioned, make sure your page is public. We want people to be able to find you and your post to be seen. Otherwise, what's the point? And let's see here. We talked about for compliance purposes, make sure that you have your DRE number in the description. so that it's on there. Again, I would make it probably part of the name of the page so that I could just tag it. My DRE numbers automatically on each page. This or post. The same for the brokerage. You Your brokerage needs to be identified. As of right now, the DRE number of your brokerage doesn't have to be identified, but if you can find a way to kind of tag that in there, I'd probably go ahead and add it because I just have a feeling at some point they're going to require that, and I just would rather have it there than not. And you can also, just so you know too, you can also put your DRE number or the brokerage as hashtags as well on your posts. Your profile photo, right? The little circle profile photo should be forward facing and it should be a recent picture so that people can see your face and recognize you. Okay. Your banner or your header or cover page photo should be crisp. It should be clear and it should be a photo that includes things people have an affinity for. Okay, so besides you being in it, which you should be, it should have things that represent who you are. And bonuses there is if you can include kids, pets, or even quotes. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. I was just pulling up mine right now so I could see what's on there. My current profile photo, it probably won't show up. Let's see. It's actually me and my husband there. And then my banner photo, it's hard to see because it's picking up the glare, is actually me on a horse in a lake. Okay. So things people have affinity for. Who am I looking to contact? Who am I looking to do business with? I want other horse people, right? So that's what my banner photo portrays. Okay. Next, what I would recommend is that you change your profile photo, that little circle photo, and your banner photo or cover photo every single month. Okay. So I'm not good at this, but I would recommend that you do it. So set it on your calendar to change your profile photo like on the 1st of every month, and then change your cover photo on the 15th of every month. Okay. Now, if we want to get really specific, 2:15 is the key time. Okay. So put the reminder or appointment on your calendar for the 1st and the 15th to create or choose your new photos before that. So maybe at like 1:30 or 1 o'clock, and then actually change them out at 2:15. That's the key. That's how they're going to get in front of the most people, right? So it's all about tweaking and working the algorithms. And if we follow the games that want to be played by social media, then we get put in front of more people. Okay. In addition, don't go back and repeat photos. That's going to hurt you more than it helps. I'm telling you, there's just some weird social media algorithms. So don't repeat photos. By changing these out regularly, it's going to help get your information shared with more people. In addition, make sure your contact information needs to be kept current. You can have public-facing contact information and you also have the ability to have secondary contact information that's set to private, so you can put your business information on there. That's going to get you in front of more people as well. And I can't tell you, me personally, the number of times I've tried to get in contact with an agent and I couldn't track down their social or their contact information either online or on their social media. Okay. And that's generally the easiest place to find them is on social media. So you want to have your contact information on there. And you should have your bio completed, and your bio should be relatable. If you need help with that, use something like Chat GPT or Gemini or whatever you want to use, but use something to help you write that. Plug in some stuff and they'll make it sound really nice and pretty. All right. When we post, we want to use what we call a 5-to-1 strategy. Okay, this is on your personal page. You're going to create 5 posts related to your personal life. Okay, 5 personal posts. These are going to be bonus if you can subtly post personal or roll business into it. Okay, so bonus, for example, would be like maybe you make a post that talks about the fact that you love being a realtor because it gives you the flexibility, right, to go riding with friends on a Wednesday afternoon when the trails are less crowded and there's less bikers, right? That would be for me. So see, I can plug that in. I'm making a post about how much I enjoy riding, but I'm tagging in that, hey, it's nice being a realtor, right? Just a little reminder. Every 6th post should be business related. This should include more than just look at this listing. It should include things like real estate related news. What are interest rates doing? Right? What's the housing market doing? Is there a new law going into play? What's happening, right? Just valuable information, home maintenance, fun things that you see when showing homes, this or that type post. People love to give their opinion. Right? Do you like this kitchen or that kitchen? Right? The post should be fun, offer valuable information outside of just listings. Your goal is going to be is to talk about the problem that your client might have and may want to solve. Okay. Try staying away from things that seem like commercials, no self promotions. Don't be that like pick me realtor. Okay. What people do when they see commercials is they change the channel, and we don't want that. So we want to provide valuable information that ties in business. If you do have a business page or that community page, you do need to make sure that you're posting on that on a regular basis, so that it has content when people look for it or find it. Your business or community page should also be a 5-to-1 ratio, but it should be the other way. 5 business related posts and then a personal post. Okay. They still want to know you, but it's appropriate to be more business related on that community or that business page. Okay. We still don't want you just making listing posts or open house posts. We want to offer information that's valuable to people. Does anybody have any questions about posting strategy? Okay. Keep in mind that some platforms allow you to schedule posts so that you don't have to remember to post daily. You could set it up at the beginning of the week and just kind of set it and forget it. And then every Monday you sit back down and create your post for the next week or whatever day that is. When creating and scheduling posts, I recommend 2 things. First is don't post external links. Okay, so like if I'm going to post about a listing or I'm going to post, I don't know what it might be, but something that has an external link, don't put it in your post because social media platforms don't like it when you take people away from their platform. So if it's got a link in there, they're going to bury that post and not as many people will see it. Okay, so if you do have that link, you can put it in the first comment. So put like see comments below for more information, right? Or to register or whatever it might be. So just put that in the first comment section. In addition, don't use a third-party service to schedule the posts. Okay, again, they don't like you taking the easy route. So having a service schedule posts or posting from like, I think from OneSuite, you can post directly onto Facebook, but it sees that as a third-party posting. So your post isn't going to get in front of as many people as if you log into Facebook and create that post directly in Facebook. When you post, make sure you tag people. Don't do it randomly. You want to be strategic and not spammy when you tag people. So tag people when it makes sense for who they are or what they do. Okay, the goal here is that you're going to get more eyes on your posts and to get your posts in front of their friends. Okay, remember though, our goal here is not to be spammy because we don't want people removing their names from those tags because that's going to hurt you more than it helps. So let's say that you're doing a post about home maintenance. You may want to tag like pest inspectors, contractors, handymen, right? Things that are going to be related to that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Moving right along, let's talk about what to post, right? When creating posts, you want to create posts that people are going to want to interact with. So some of the top posts on social media platforms are often those that have cats or kittens or dogs or puppies, kids, other animals. So make sure to add those into your mix. I know I always get a lot of play when I post pictures of my ducks. Okay, so add those in. They don't have to be your pets and animals. It could just be fun things that you're finding online. In addition, you want to create your brand. So be consistent in your posts to create branding. So think about what you like or enjoy, what makes you unique, what makes you stand out, what are your interests? Do you have pets, family? What are your hobbies? What's your story? Make sure you take some time to focus in on those items to create your content. You want to create the brand of you. Okay, when people go to my page, there should be no question that I love riding horses and I spend a lot of time in my garden. Okay, so just kind of keep those things in mind. When it comes to business content, leverage the information to go further. So use the same content across multiple platforms. And let's say that you're creating a newsletter to email out to your database. You can take that information and turn it into blogs, emails, text message, posts for social media, right? There's no sense in recreating new content for each type of media. If you're doing it once, like figure out how to stretch that as far as it will go. Let's see here. Next, you need to make sure to be engaging with people on social media to make it an effective form of lead generation. And so add everyone to your social media. Add as friends or invite to follow. Make sure you track down your leads, the people in your database, your vendors, your neighbors, find them and add them all. There's a whole nother platform there on Nextdoor. You can use Nextdoor as social media. Okay, that being said, you don't want to send out too many friend or follow requests at one time. Okay, so don't exceed 5 requests, about 5 requests per day. Okay, and then once a week, put it on your calendar if this is going to be part of your social media, if social media is part of your lead gen method. You want to go in there and clean up your friend requests so that you clear out those that are over a week old. We don't want like 89 outstanding friend requests. So you want to go in there and cancel the request. You can ask to add them again, right? You can repeat that request, but that way we don't have a bunch outstanding. If you request too many at one time, then you get put in like social media jail and they won't let you like comment, add friends, right? They'll lock you down for a period of time. In addition to making new requests, cleaning out those requests on a regular basis, you also want to make sure that you're either accepting or declining requests to be your friend. Just make sure you keep that all clean and tidy and nice. Okay. I would recommend posting a minimum of 1 time per day. How do you just a second, Amanda. I don't know that you just have to decline them. So if Amanda, are you talking about like if somebody asks you to like their business? Or are you talking about you've asked people to like yours?
When I've asked people to like mine, they've been pending since I like rebranded, so it's been a minute.
On your Facebook page for those requests, I don't know that you can cancel that request. I can look into it and see if we can figure that out. I don't know that you can though on a business page. I've never looked into that one. All right. So posting 1 time per day, minimum, bare minimum if we're using social media. 3 times would be better. Okay. Minimum is 1, at least 3 would be better. 5 would be best. Okay. More is always better. And I would say that you want to do a mix of posts, meaning some are videos, some are pictures, some are going to be text only. Okay. And share on your feed, right? And don't forget stories or reels. Okay. You want to do a mix of everything because those people that watch stories are often different than those that scroll through the feed. And those are probably different than those that watch reels. I almost never watch stories, but I will sit there and scroll through reels. Okay. And I will scroll through my feed to see what's popping up and what people are doing. Use them all though, because you're going to reach different people. And it's okay to repeat content because again, different people are going to see different post methods. Now, that being said, like on Facebook, if I make a post on my feed, it says, hey, do you want to post this to your story? And do you want to make a reel out of this? So if I mark yes to both of those, it's going to automatically put it on my feed and my story. And then it's going to take me to create a reel. Now, when I'm creating that reel, it's going to be like, do you want to post this on your stories? And if I marked yes, now I've just posted the same content multiple times instead of just keeping it clear. So just be aware that that does happen. You don't want to just keep repeating yourself over and over again. But the same reel, same story, same feed's totally okay. If you're posting only once per day, I would say do it in the morning so that your circle of influence has more time to interact with it. Okay, they have all day to interact with it. And block some time to make sure that you come back and interact with those that interact with you. Okay, I would recommend like 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times per day. You want to emote on their comments on your post, reply to comments, make and like your own post to bring it back up to the top, right? So when we emote, that would be like a thumbs up or smiley face or frowny face or the little guy with the heart, right? Or the angry face. I would say use anything but thumbs up. Okay, that one's not going to help you in the algorithms, but if you heart something or use any of the others, that's going to help in the algorithms. So in addition, I mentioned too that you want to go in there. If you've got a post that you made this morning, go in there and like it midday because it's going to help pop it back up to the top so it gets seen by more people. And nobody's going to look over hover over who's liked this post and be like, oh, she liked her own post. Nobody does that. So it's all right. Throw it up in there. In addition, make sure that you re-engage with people who have commented or liked your post by liking and commenting on their posts. Okay. Don't be afraid to reach out and direct message people because people, generally speaking, like direct messages. If it's relational, if it's businessy, they're not going to like it. Okay. Our goal here is interact, interact, interact. If people comment on your post, we want to reply to those comments as well as emote on them because that's going to help your post get more interactions and get put in front of more people. It's all about the algorithms. Here are the key times and topics to post. You want to catch people at prime time so that you need to post before that time so that your post starts getting traction and then it's there in the top when people are actually on. The peak times based on recent data are about 7:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. Okay, and remember, we want to post before those times. So if you're posting 3 times per day, I would say, hey, the first needs to be between 7 and 7:10 to catch that 7:30 crowd or those early risers that are scrolling before you go to work. Okay, I would recommend that post be something inspirational or motivational. Okay, something that's going to get people going in the morning. Then at like 10:07, right, between 10 and 10:10, we want to make another post so that it's seen by that 10:30 crowd. And we want to aim for those that maybe are stay-at-homers. So post something that's like home project related, DIY, family related, or what you did or are doing, outing type stuff. Okay, that's mid-morning. In the afternoon, right? You're going to attempt a viral post in that 2 o'clock time frame. So sometime between 2 and 2:10, you want to make that post so that it's set for that 2:30 crowd. And that's again going to be your viral post attempt. And then at 5 o'clock, between 5 and 5:10, you want to post to catch the people getting off work. Okay, they're trying to catch up on the day's events. So post trending stories, fun news, entertaining posts, posts about movies or shows, right? Something that can guide them into their evening activities. That might even be a place for like a quick recipe or something, right? But we're trying to catch that 5:30 crowd. Then at that 9 to 9:10 in the evening, we're going to post again to catch them while they're watching TV and scrolling on their phones. Here, they're looking for something funny. Okay, they're looking to be entertained at that last, so humor. In addition, again, you want to do a variety of different post types. So mix it up between plain text, picture, stories, and reels. Keep in mind that social media videos should be shorter than 58 seconds. Okay, if you're using YouTube, then the video should be longer than 8 minutes. Okay, so there's your what and when to post. It doesn't matter what platform or platforms you decide to use. You just need to determine your audience, right? Who's your ideal client? For me, that would be people who love being outdoors and specifically other horse people. For you, it may be like 20 to 20 or 25 to 40-year-olds that love sport cars. Or maybe it's single moms. Or maybe it's people who love wine and finding the perfect pairings with food, right? There's no wrong answer here, but identify who your key client is and then keep them in mind when you create your content. Okay. In addition to creating content around your key person that you're trying to attract, go and find other groups, channels, creators that are targeting the same groups. Research what they're doing, what's working well, what isn't. Reach out to them and see if they're open to you picking their brain, right? If it's not somebody who's local to our area, somebody that's on the East Coast, that's a realtor that's targeting the same people, like reach out to them. See if they want to have a collaborative group or something. In addition, on platforms like Facebook, you only get a limited number of friends. So you want to choose wisely and you want to maintain that list. Okay, so we already talked about adding people. We talked about cleaning up our friends list. Your goal on Facebook is to have somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 friends. Okay, that means that you've reached celebrity status, and that's ultimately the goal. You want to have at least 1,500 to be an influencer. Okay, at 1,501 friends, so 1,501 um, is where the magic starts. With fewer than that, your audience for every post is only going to get put in front of 7 to 15 people. Once we cross over that threshold of 1,501, then you're going to get seen by like 50 plus people. And that's going to start to grow exponentially. And the more friends and followers that you have, the better or more people will see it. When you have at least 4,000 friends in your audience is now somewhere around 5,000. Okay. The people that you tag will see your post. So that's a good way to get in front of more people. But just remember what we talked about. We don't want to spam tag people. And then each week, when you invite people to be your friends, you want to choose wisely. So if you're here for lead generation, consider adding someone when you're getting ready to add somebody, consider asking yourself, are they going to add value to your social media? Are they a potential client or a potential referral partner? Are they local to the area where you want to do business in or that you're trying to access for business? For instance, referral partners in other states, even though they're not local, they might be somebody that you want to add to your social media. Do you have friends in common already? That's a good thing if you do, because they're more likely to accept your friend or follow request, and you're less likely to get in trouble for adding them. Okay. Also, you want to see how open their profile is. You want it to be more open because it's going to be helpful and benefit you if their profile is open. If it's set to fully private, you may not want to add them as one of your friends. You may not want to have them take up one of your spaces because if you post on their page, you want it seen by other people. If their page is set to fully private, it's not going to get seen. Okay. Also, do they have a birthday on their profile? You want to be able to wish them happy birthday. So if they don't have a profile, it's set to private, right? We may not want to go ahead and add them. Pick somebody else. In addition to that, pick a system to go through your friends list regularly, delete ghost profiles or those that have left the platform. Keep your friends list clean, right? Platforms like that and will reward the action. That being said, don't unfriend too many people all at once or it will think you're a bot and you'll get in trouble for that as well. So one good method that you may want to try is like if we're wishing people happy birthdays, look at who's showing up on your profile as happy birthdays for the day. Look at their profile. Are we keeping that friend? Getting rid of that friend? Who doesn't have birthdays, right? Let's get rid of those. All right. So now that you've picked your platform, you've identified those that you want to do business with, it's time to plan for success. So the first thing that you want to do is block time on your calendar weekly for content creation, for posting, and for interactions. Okay, make sure that's all on your calendar. You want to identify your posting cadence. It may vary depending on what platform you're using. If you're YouTube, it might be like 1 to 2 times per week versus Facebook, where it might be 3 to 5 times per day. Okay. We already talked about when you should post. Next, what you want to do is create a content calendar. That's going to help you be creative with your posts and videos as you can go with themes. Okay. So it might be like a weekly calendar or monthly. Weekly, you might determine that every Monday you post a funny meme and a post about your weekend activities. Tuesday, you might post a tip from a book that you're reading or a tip for living with pets. Wednesday might be a video of a property, a neighborhood, or happy clients. Thursday might be a highlight, a local business, right? Friday could have a call to action like an invite to an open house or invite to an event. Okay. Some other ideas would be like weekly post asking if anyone wants a list of open houses for the weekend or would like to see 4-bedroom homes or single story homes or ranch homes for sale. Don't post the list, but tell them to message you or comment below because that gives you the opportunity to interact with them and dig deeper to find out if they're looking for a home or considering selling. Also, you can set your schedule monthly. You could base it off a theme for each day where you'd have 30 different themes, one for each day of the month. And then each month you just rinse and repeat. Okay, but don't forget that 5 to 1 rule, 5 personal to 1 business. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. Let's see here. So that's planning. So now that you have time blocked on your calendars, you have your cadence established, you have the direction for your content, you want to create the content. And remember here, our it should be consistent for branding. So the same colors, same filters, same fonts, right? You're creating a brand and you want it to look consistent across that platform when people go to look at it. We want people to be able to recognize you. You might also search for hot topics. What are people passionate about? What's going to get a response or what brings them back to who you are? Okay, I will never forget this. I posted a photo of my curtains in a house and it was like one, two, three, four, like 5 houses ago. So it was a long time ago. The curtains were touching the floor. And I said, and I asked people's opinions for whether curtains should touch the floor or not. And I got 10 times as many comments as any of my regular posts, right? Like, yikes. Okay. People really like to share their opinions. So keep that in mind when you're making those posts. In addition to that, make sure you decide what soapboxes you want to stand on and what you want to avoid. Okay, general rule of thumb when using social media for business is you may cause people to respond negatively or stop following you or not choose to do business with you based on what you post. So oftentimes we recommend avoiding things like politics, religion, those type of things on social media, but that's something you can choose for yourself. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Search hashtags to include in your posts and with your content calendar, save those hashtags for each type of posts. Know what the popular hashtags are because they're going to help people find your post or video that may not have otherwise seen it. This is a good use for like Chat GTP. You could ask GPT, you can ask what the top 20 tags are for a post about kittens and it'll spit those out for you. And then remember to make sure you put a call to action in the post or the description. Ask for feedback, opinions, polls, anything that would call them for a response to your post or video. You can even create like a Calendly calendar and share the link with a call to action. Remember to share that link in the comment section, not in the post. Right? So you can something like use my Calendly link to set up a one-on-one consultation with me to discuss buying, selling, or investing in real estate, right? Put that link in the comment section, not the post itself. So you can do things like that as well. If you're having difficulty with content, make a list of 30 questions that people ask with regards to real estate or the buying or selling process, because that's going to give you questions to answer in your posts or videos, okay, for the next 30 days. So just think up questions that you can answer that people might have. And then again, don't be afraid to utilize AI to help with creating written content or hashtags. You can create that content in advance, spend a few hours one day to pre-create all the content for the week or even the month. Once your content is created, you can start taking pictures or videos for the next week or month, right? So if all my pictures and videos that I took last week, I use for social media this week, then everything I'm doing this week makes my social media next week. And then also remember that how you share your story is important. So it's okay to be real, but try to avoid being negative. Okay. And when sharing about closings or listings, this is the same idea, those postcards we talked about last week. Share what you did that makes you an amazing choice as an agent, not just that you had a closing. Okay. So share your story. As far as interactions go, we want to make sure that we're building relationships. So we want to respond to any direct messages immediately. You can make response templates for both post content and direct messages so that you can respond quickly and easily. So maybe to make sure that you have your lenders handy that you refer to so that you can just copy and paste like who they should reach out to for a lender contact or that you can tag them in your posts. Make sure that you plan time in your day so that you can respond to those comments. And in addition to responding in words to comments, like or love their comment, right? And if you're going to respond to a comment with a direct message, this is important. Post that you're sending them a direct message, right? Reply to their comment with, hey, I'll send you a direct message so that they look for that message and other people don't feel like you left somebody hanging with no response if they had a question. Again, partway through your day, make sure you like your own post. That's going to help it move back to the top of the feed. And as you create relationship, make sure you're adding those people to your database and tagging them appropriately. Okay, some ways to level up your lead gen. Creating content and liking or commenting posts may not be enough. Okay, I've had great success at lead gen using social media. In fact, my listing that I have in Sassoon, I actually have it because of social media. Okay, so the scroll. I block time in my day to scroll through my feed and the feeds of some of my friends. Okay, I try not to get caught up in reels or stories or mindlessness. I'm looking for trigger posts. Okay, I'm looking for friends that are talking about not being happy with their current living situation. Those are experiencing life changes, things like getting married, getting divorced, somebody passing away, growing their family, becoming empty nesters, talking about aging parents, right? These are all things that may be an indicator that people may need to move. They may not have even realized this. Okay. I've gotten more transactions from social media just by paying attention to what other people are posting and then reaching out to them. If you see something that's an indicator, reach out to them, start that conversation because you never know where it may lead. Next is you need to be aware of a few things. Your friends list is going to be automatically ordered by who you interact with the most okay? That means that we need to interact with more people. This is part of the reason, like when we talk about our database, I say start liking people's social medias as part of your regular routine because those people are going to pop up in your feed more often. I would recommend that every day you celebrate birthdays. Wish anyone with a birthday happy birthday. And if you're heading into a day off, you can wish people an early birthday. Okay, you could even do it like once a week and wish them a happy birthday week or a happy birthday month. Okay, you don't have to do it daily. Okay, you can customize your friends list and group people by where they live, how you know them, what their jobs are. And so you can group people so that you can strategically interact with them and then systematically interact with those you haven't talked with in a while. Add them all to your database, put them on a plan for a quarterly social media interaction so it becomes systematic and repeatable. The more people you interact with, the more people will see your posts. So be strategic in that. The second method that leads to intentional lead generation success is groups. Okay. I look for two types of groups. The first being area specific groups, right? The homes and rental groups, the what's going on groups. I really like the general groups. In these groups, I'm looking for people that are looking for information. Okay. And I'm not looking necessarily for the people that are looking for information on a realtor. Okay. I'm looking for people that want other information. Those that are looking for things that are community related, like a handyman, a contractor, where to board their horses, where to go riding, um, where the area car shows are, right? Whatever that might be. I want to build relationship and share my area knowledge with them. Share my vendor list. I want to refer them to other people, point out where the area attractions are. I want to form a social media friendship with these people because oftentimes that friendship is going to lead to business down the road. Okay. In addition to scrolling, I've created lots of clients by doing just that. The second type of group that I'm looking for are groups that have people in them that are my target client group or groups that I have people in common with. So for me, that might be like horse related groups, DIY groups, gardening groups, or maybe other outdoor groups. Okay. My goal here in those groups is not to vomit real estate, but it's to build relationship with other people that I have things in common with. Those relationships could and can lead to transactions if you pay attention to what's being said. Okay. My next way that I like to lead generate on social media, right? So we've got the scroll. I connect with the groups that have people, things in common with me, or that are the general area groups. The other thing that I do is I've created local groups for things I enjoy. Okay, it's given me the opportunity to connect with others that I have things in common with. And the goal here isn't to vomit real estate. The goal is to build relationships. So I want to friend or follow those people on their personal pages. That way they're going to see the content on my page. And then we can just become Facebook friends and it's going to open the door to business. Okay, just remember if you're going to create a group, you have to make sure that there is content and interactions happening in that group. Okay. The thought here is don't wait for people to come. You want to go find people. Okay. I created in Solano County, I have a Solano County trail riding group. And then when I moved to North Idaho, I also created a North Idaho trail riding group. I connect with, there's like hundreds of people in these groups now, and I go riding with them. I connect with them. I get referrals. I get transactions out of it. So it's fabulous. I really initially created it not because lead gen was my thing on social media, but because of the fact that I was just looking for people to go riding with, and it came into a win-win. Okay, some tips when it comes to groups. Keep track of the groups that you have joined. You want to make sure you're participating in those groups on a regular basis. Unjoin groups that you aren't active in, but please don't do them all at once. Okay, only leave 1 or 2 groups per day, no more than 5 per week. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble if you leave too many at one time. Put out valuable content in the groups you belong to. Again, we're not looking to self-promote. We're looking to be a resource and build relationship. You want to emote and comment on posts and responses to your posts in groups and on your feed. And when you emote, again, don't use the thumbs up, use anything else. Work to earn badges in groups and always accept the badge when offered. And to find groups, make a list of your interests, who your ideal client is, and who you're looking to do business with, and then find those groups. I would join 3 to 4 groups. That's the max. Once you're good at posting and managing those groups, then you can add 1 or 2 more at a time. But give yourself at least a month of consistency in creating the habit of posting in each of those groups before you add more. And then you can post an intro video, right? Record yourself saying who you are, what you like doing. Most groups do have a self-promote rule or a don't self-promote rule, right? That you're not allowed to self-promote. But an intro video, hey, thanks so much for allowing me to join the group. I can't wait to find more people to ride with, and more trails right there out there to explore. I'm a real estate agent, so I do have time midweek. So if anybody's looking for someone to ride with during the week, let me know, right? See how I snuck that in there? Sneaky self-promotion. Okay, so do an intro video. So again, to sum it up, daily, you want to post with a goal of at least 3 times per day, wish happy birthday, and interact with those that interact with you at least 2 times per day. For my weekly schedule of how I would my cadence, day 1, I would create the content for the next week. Day 2, I'd go in there and delete any friend requests from the past week that are over a week old. Day 3, I would work on growing my following with friend or follow requests. The next day, I would post on business or community pages. And then on the last day, I might review groups. So that would take me through a 5-day work week. So that's kind of what my cadence would be for social media. Any questions, thoughts, ahas? Alrighty. And then I have run out of time. It is 9:52 and I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm not going to dive into farming today, but here's the problem. October is coming to a close. Next week we have no class because it's the culture group that happens on Thursdays. I can't think of what it is, but it's like Breakfast Club. Okay. I feel like maybe we have class on the 30th. If we do, I will dive into more lead gen opportunities. I will figure out what I'm going to cover on that class now. And then what I will do is I will post some of the other lead gen videos where we talk about other lead gen methods in the Foxhole group over the next couple of weeks sporadically, so that you guys can see some of the other options for leveling up your lead generation, making choices on what methods of lead gen that you want, and cover more than we've got time allowed for in live classes. So hopefully that was helpful. Thanks again for joining me today, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Make sure you show up to the Breakfast Club, the Culture Breakfast Club, next week in the office. We'll see you all soon. Have a great day.